Hi everyone! In this part of the tutorial, we'll talk about a favorite topic of mine, which is about generic map types. The reason why I like it is I think it's pretty cool, but it's kind of hard to decode at first glance, so that's why I'm here to help you understand how this works. Let's begin by writing some custom types, maybe one for a user. And let's say that it's going to have a first name of type string, last name of type string, and age of type number. Then I'll create a separate type. It's going to have nothing in common with the first one. They're like from completely different contexts, but that's fine. That's just for demo purposes. Let's say it's going to be a point type. Point. Oops, come on. And it's going to have two members. We have X of type number and Y of type number. Let's say we're working in 2D. Now, what if we want to create a separate type for the user that has the same properties, but they're optional? All of them are optional. Would we have to write it again or maybe copy paste it and just say like optional user and then put a question mark after every single property name because that's how we make them optional? And then what if we wanted to make the same thing for points? That would be a fourth type. Come on, this is not serious. It can't be that hard, right? So there is a more straightforward way, or I don't know if it's more straightforward, but it's shorter for sure, and it's better and it's preferred. So let me show you how this works. Now, bear in mind that the syntax is very weird. So if you don't get it at first glance, don't worry at all. I'm firstly going to write it more quickly so that I can just lay it out, and then I will explain in much more detail. So just bear with me. So I will create a new type, which I'll call make optional. And the way this will work is it's going to take in any other type. It could be user, it could be point, it could be something else. And it's going to convert all of its properties to an optional version, right? Optional, by the way. So how will this work? Well, I'm going to use a generic here. I'm going to say that it's going to take in some other type. And what is the result going to be? Now, just stick with me for a bit. I know this will look very weird, but I'm going to write square brackets. This is just a part of the syntax. And I'm going to say, for every key in the key series of the type that I have, I'll explain this in more detail. Don't get scared, please. I'm going to make it optional, and the corresponding type will be the same as in the original type. Now, I know this looks like some kind of different code. That's not TypeScript. What the heck is this? But we're going to go over it in a bit. Or actually now, why not? So let's imagine that the first time we use this, we're going to use it on the user type, right? I'm going to quickly hide the point one because we don't care about it now. We can add semicolons at the end. This doesn't matter much. But the idea is that we're going to convert user to optional. So how would this work? Firstly, let's decode this part. Maybe this part, even the smaller piece. What is key of t? If we pass in user as the t, so let's say that t will currently be our user. Of course, it can take different types, but for now, we're working with user. Key of t, we return all of the keys, right? It will return first name, last name, etc. And age, of course. Let me just add it here, age. Fantastic. So that's key of t. So this left part here is just iterating through every single of the keys. That's what it says. It says for every key inside of this group of keys. So this is just like an iterator, right? It's like a quirky version of a loop or something. So it's iterating through every single key of the user. It's making it optional, right? So it's taking first name. I'm just going to write it this way for shorter notation. Question mark. It's going to make it optional. Then last name, optional. Age, optional. Fantastic. And then what will the types be? What does this thing mean? Well, if T is our user, we're basically saying go to the user and check the type of the current key. So if the current key is first name, it's going to go to user, check the type of first name. What is that? It's a string. Oh, there you go. So it's going to be a string in the optional version too. Then it goes to the next key. Next key is last name. What is the type of last name inside of user? It's string again. So this is going to be string. And lastly, we have age. What's the type of age? It's number. And that's how this short syntax creates a full new type with the optional version of the user properties. Isn't that so cool? And we can use this now on any type that we want. It's just hard to decipher this part, right? But that's how it works. This gives us all of the keys of the user or the point or whatever we're working with. This whole phrase here iterates through all of the keys, and for every key, it checks what the original type is. So let's now actually implement this fully. So I'm going to say new type, which is going to be called optional user equals. And now look at what I'll do. I'll call my make optional type, and inside of the angle brackets, I'll pass in user. That's what I just did when I was writing it down manually, right? We're passing in user as our T. So then this will iterate through the keys of the user, it will make them optional, and it will set the appropriate types. And now I can do the same for point, right? And it's much shorter than it would be if we hadn't used this strategy. So I can say optional point equals make optional of point. And there we go. Now these two types, look at them. This one has all of the properties of user, and they're optional. That's why it says or undefined, because they're optional. And this second type has all of the properties of points with the right types. That's so cool. And you could do this with any type that you want. And let's just test it. I want to test one of these. Let's say I want to create a user first, like a full user. I'll call it full user of type user. Now this will require me to add all three properties, right? We need first name, eventual, last name, Ivanov, and age 30. But if I create a new user, let's say partial user, maybe partial user and partial point would have been better names here, but anyways, this will be of type optional user. And now look at this. I don't actually need to pass anything because everything is optional right now. I could pass only one of the properties if I wanted to. I could say first name equals Ivan, and that's it. I don't need to pass the rest of them. And as like a mini challenge, you can just try doing the same thing with point, right? I'm not going to write any full examples for point, but we already have an optional version, so you can just test it out. But this is how generic map types work. I hope this video was interesting and helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to share them in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.